again, going back to the two different versions, I ended up doing the shotgun nationwide approach right out of the gate. My reasoning for doing it though is that we were going to be first to market. And I knew I needed speed to market because I was sort of looking over my shoulder. I knew somebody else was going to be doing this after me. So
Yeah.
speed was important. And because, well, in my case, it wasn't a storefront, I knew I could easily get people up and running. And the biggest challenge was going to be me sending staff to help the franchisees get up and running in their own territory. But I didn't have the
Yeah.
brick and mortar thing to contend with. I think regionally, of course, you have the advantage of you can obviously get there to them much easier. You have the ability to grow because of the brand awareness in your market. But
Yeah.
there's really not a right or a wrong answer. I think it really comes down to the preference of the founder and also knowing, do I have the infrastructure to be able to support it? So what does your team look like?
So there's myself. We have a consultant that I hired very early on, and
Hmm.
I will recommend doing that for sure. I didn't know how to run a franchise. That was another, it's another business
Sure.
outside of, the sauna studio. But having somebody who's got that experience, and he's wonderful. His name is Matt Friedman, and he had 150 stores of a wing stop, and he grew it himself. It was pretty inspiring, and he's been wonderful. So I highly recommend, if you're going to do this
Hmm.
from soup to nuts, hire somebody to help you. I mean, know your strengths,
Absolutely.
and, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. And you have to hire for your weakness, of course, but knowing what your strengths are and finding a mentor in franchising is so critical. The cool thing about our industry is we always talk about how generous the franchise community is and people willing to share. But you can
Yeah,
make too many mistakes if you don't have somebody to lean on and to kind of get that feedback on, what to
right,
do next, right? Just somebody needs to help founders see around the corners that they can't see because they've been there
right,
before.
right.
Cool. So, all right. So we're thinking of starting out regionally. Tell me about now the sort of the how you got started. So you started working with Matt,
Mhm.
and now that you've got him in your corner, what does training look like, and who are some of the staff members that help in this whole process of supporting as these new saunas open up?
Yeah, so it's super hands-on approach. That I had a heavy hand in making sure that our first franchisee was trained. I kind of mama beared him, and I've been told to pull back a little bit more and you know really let our team help. I as a founder want to be more involved, but I think I serve best coming in the beginning and then maybe a grand opening and still having that like relationship, but I shouldn't be there all the time. That was kind of
Right.
hard to figure out. But so hiring a training lead
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that our team has the right videos. We're doing a lot of training videos and we have a training manual. So it's going to be a mix of like the Zoom and webinars and on-site training.
Okay. How long is training?
It's going to be 2 weeks.
Okay. And how much of it is in classroom versus just online?
So online, it's about half and half.
Okay.
And really on site would be they come here to our corporate store and it would be a 4 or 5 days, 5 to 6 hours a day, to really be immersed in it. And then online would be the other half.
Okay.
And it's a super simple model. So it's not, it's saunas and towels and it's very simple to figure out. Yeah.
Sure. Does technology, though, play a role at all in support of the franchisees?
You,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. We have
So,
an off tech package.
so tell us a little bit more about the technology on how you guys support the franchisees and how it
So
works for them.
so we're using MindBody. That's our big point of sale system. And
Hmm.
inside of that, we are able to do marketing communication. We can use that to look real time at how our franchisees are doing and even them themselves. There's a dashboard that you can see like to the minute,
Hmm.
your revenue and clients that are roomed. I mean, it's really a cool a tech piece that we offer. Yeah, online booking and everything is through that.
Okay.
So
And who's your ideal franchise owner? What do you think are the traits that they need to be to be successful?
I would say that somebody like me, right? So I am not the multimillionaire that can open up 15 stores.
Mhm.
That would be wonderful. But I also think that we appeal to somebody who is, the average 50, 60, $70,000 a year person too. It can be as involved as you want. So
Mhm.
I am an operator, but you don't have to leave your job to also run these studios.
Basically, a franchise owner could, if they wanted to keep their job, they can basically institute a
Yeah.
manager then. So this could be a manager operated store.
Yeah, non-skilled labor.
Mhm.
We have part-time employees. We've kind of targeted the nursing schools here. We send out email blasts. So a lot of our employees are, in healthcare, but they don't have to be,
Okay. What do you think about selling franchises single unit versus multi-unit?
Yeah, so I think multi-unit would be easier if there were a few big multi-units, like I definitely see the benefit of that.
Mhm.
Less tail wagging of the dog,
Sure.
less franchisees with less opinions. But
Right.
yeah, I think there's benefits to both, right? There's a lot of growth with singles, and
Mhm.
then there's a lot of more controlled with multi-unit.
Sure. So do you offer like a single unit package and a multi-unit franchise package as part of the FDD?
So we're a single unit right now.
Only single unit, but you will sell multiples of single
Oh,
units.
totally.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, this is back to your whole philosophy as a founder. You'll need to really think about how soon you want to have them open too, because obviously in each concept is different. And some concepts, of course, are set up that they sell them as multi-unit franchise packs, as a pack of 3, pack of 5 with a development schedule. So that's going to come back to you as the founder to decide how do you want them to roll this out. And of course, you're not going to want them to open multiple units too quickly, right? We don't want them
Right.
to fail. But that comes back to how Amanda puts, her stamp on what Melt Wellness, Melt
Yeah.
Well looks
And I
like.
know it'll just keep evolving, as we're growing.
Sure.
We're very emerging. Yes.
You guys are brand new, right? One open and a whole lot more to come in the near future, I
I
think.
know. They are knocking.
That's awesome. So, what if I was an owner operator though of a franchise? What does a day in the life look like for me?
For me, I go in, well, before I started the franchising side, because you have to pull yourself out of the business to grow the business.
Right.
So for me, I would go in, I would sauna and cold plunge before I opened.
Okay.
I would prep everything
You got to
and
eat your own cooking, right?
set this tone for the day. I mean, yeah, it would completely just get me ready. But anyway, so you open the studio, there for maybe a 4 or 5 hour shift, and then have your staff come in and relieve you, and then I was there maybe 30 hours a week, and then
Okay.
the rest supplemented. We're 7 days a week. Yeah, there's not really a good day to close. We're always busy.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.